Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy lONl. I'm officially doing a post commentary for you guys today. We're going to be talking about some unlocks, and then the main topic, obviously, we're going to talk about the lAV because that's what the gameplay is centered around, as you guys can obviously see. But without further ado, guys, we need to get right into it, and I'll give you guys the weapon loadout, followed by the map and the game type. We'll be playing with the M416, and this is obviously all post-patch right now, so the M416 is the god weapon, quote-unquote, by many now, and this is just like the first day when it came out. This is not, I haven't really been using it here lately. I've been kind of experimenting with other weapons, and I find the M416 and other weapons, per se, you know, in any category that have been adjusted, to be far more effective than they ever have been in the previous updates. So the the M416 is going to be running the flash suppressor, the red dot with the US sighting and all that good stuff. The MP443 is my pistol, and I'll be using the squad cover perk because again I find that to be most effective for increasing accuracy, basically when you're suppressed. I'll be playing on Sin Crossing for the map, and the game type is obviously going to be Rush because Rush is my favorite. I enjoy playing it probably the most out of anything. I find it to be something that I'm fairly well at, and I've had lots of experience in how to acquire most of the bombs and tactics to use, and just overall how to play it to win, per se. In the vehicle, I'm going to be using the lAV, and I'll be using reactive armor, smoke, and I'll be using the APTSDS T-shell, and or anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's basically the armor-piercing shells. It's a lot better to take out tanks and LAVs with it. You basically shoot your main, first blast of shells, and then you hit the Y, and then you sprint over and shoot all those. But I don't know if now you can actually do that anymore since the lAV has been altered. I know the double Y trick on the tank doesn't work anymore, where you could shoot the main shell and then shoot the canister. Unfortunately, they thought that was overpowered, which I would disagree completely, but that's obviously my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people had a problem with it when they were dying, when they were camping in the background with their sniper rifles, so I could imagine that could frustrate that particular amount of people. Some of the coolest things that I saw that were kind of leaked, I don't know if they're supposed to be released yet, and they've been showing up as on your weapons. For the said weapons is the L85A2, the LSAT, the MTAR, the SKS, and the UMP45. They have actually introduced 5 new camos for, if I'm correct, I think it's premium players. I think it's our it's not our bonus content, but it's like our weapon upgrade system that we get 2 months, and then we miss a month, and then you know the whole style if you're a premium player. But overall, I'll give you guys what they are, the camos. Most of them are for your, you've already had them for your soldiers, so they're just translated over to your weapons now. For the assault category, you're going to have the L85A2 with the tactical camo. For the LSAT, you'll have the navy blue. For the MTAR, you'll have airman. The SKS, you'll have woodland, stripe. And the UMP45 is navy blue. And I actually picked up the UMP navy blue, what was it, 2 days ago? And I was really confused. I actually didn't even know that they were out yet, but another part of me was like, dude, this is kind of sick. And I've heard the UMP is actually an amazing weapon. I've heard from, a fair amount of people that, quote-unquote, it's overpowered, but I would disagree. I still think the MP7 is the king in all situations, but I actually haven't played with the 3 power weapons yet, the M5K, the MP7, and the UMP45. I've heard those are now the new power weapons to be using in close quarters. They do excel in their own categories, and I'll hopefully get some gameplay for you guys from that. I should be playing some close quarters maybe tonight or tomorrow, and overall, it shouldn't be too big of a deal to get gameplay for that, since close quarters is all about running circuits and, just gun-on-gun skill, which, I'm pretty good at both, so shouldn't be that terribly bad. If all you premium members have not already noticed or been updated or are, in the circle of what's going on in Battlefield, per se, there is double XP coming up on September 14th through September 15th, and it's only 2 days. I don't know if that is actually for premium guys. Usually premium gets an entire week, so I don't know if this is for the non-premium guys that, just are so just they can satisfy them, or if it's actually just for us just because of the reasons of Armored Kill that is coming out. So only time will tell, and as I said, Armored Kill is going to be coming out here soon. It's only 5 days away from PC and Xbox as of the day that this is uploaded. So it's coming up very quickly. It'll be the Monday of the coming week, and overall I'm looking forward to it. I've heard my fair share of comments saying that it's really slow, it's boring, it's the AC-130 is overpowered. I've heard all of it, and from what I've seen, if you have a dedicated team even for console, I think you'll be okay. I do realize that some of the maps have more vehicles for the attacking team, which that's unfortunate, but I think DICE will probably realize this and tune it down in a couple of months when their next patch is able to come, when they generate a large enough profit to, you know, put the, we'll say, a couple million or whatever into a next patch. But, you know, that's all I got to say for that. The LAV, let's get into the main bread and butter. The LAV was not something that changed too much in the patch, but it did get its fair share of adjustments. And from what I've been told, don't take this completely true, I can't actually find the patch notes where it discusses it, but I've heard from a number of sources and I've actually tested it. If the LAV, I think pre-patch used to disable at, I think it was 30% health. I think it disables at 50 now. So the LAV is a lot more of a tactical weapon. You got to use it more to your advantage, and I find it to be interesting. You know, if they're using javelins, it's not too hard to outrun them, get behind something, as you guys will probably have seen on the, second set of bombs. I sit behind this green container that's right above the ship or whatever, and I find it to be really effective. I find it so they can't lock onto me with javelins, and if they shoot RPGs, I can adjust because the LAV is a fast vehicle. It actually outruns a lot of vehicles. You'd be surprised. I mean, it can take its fair share of hits. Tanks can usually fuck it over pretty bad, but if you're using, as I've stated before, those armor-piercing shell rounds, you get, what is it, like 12 shots or something at it, and tanks usually don't last too long. Those shells really do fuck up their, their view or whatever. It gives them this white flash, so if you're moving around and you're, circling around them, you should have the advantage in all situations, and you should be able to win most of the time. Another thing to take into account is you should always be running Engineer if you're going to get into a vehicle. As you guys will see, I'm actually not running the Engineer, I've actually run Assault, but I did have a friend with me this game, and he's basically the insane noob, and there was a lot of people that were assisting. There was surprisingly a lot of Engineers on my team. I really wasn't expecting people to be so considerate and be able to assist me when I actually needed it, because most of the time they're just like, oh, look at LAV, let's just sit in here and shoot the gun at a wall, because apparently that makes far more sense than actually being effective. But overall, the gameplay actually went very well, and I was really surprised by the end score. I think you guys will appreciate it towards the end. At a point, I guess you could almost say we were spawn trapping them, but at the same time, it's not like I had the LAV sitting on their spawn staring them down. I was just playing the objective in my own eyes. I sat to the point where the LAV could be most effective. I could provide support to any units or any infantry that was trying to move up or, get to a certain cover position, or just come in the LAV and sit in here with me. And I found it to be very effective, and I'm hoping that more people will pick up on this kind of thing. I see the LAV all the time. People are just like, oh, I'm going to run people over, because apparently that makes far more sense than using it effective. And it's unfortunate that not everyone uses vehicles in the same manner that you would hope. But at the same time, everyone has a different perspective on how effective something can be. So that's all I got to say, guys. And I was hoping that that topic would have lasted a little longer, but as I stated, commentaries are a little bit sporadic. So that was basically all I needed to talk about for you guys about the LAV and my setup overall on it. Reactive armor is really good. I find it to be very effective if you want to take multiple hits. If you're using a javelin, if I'm correct, I think you go to disable stage, which that can save your life if you have an engineer, willing to assist you. Like in this gameplay, for example, I think if I'm correct, they had a SOFLAM at one time in the back of their third set of bombs, and they were just they were messing my day up pretty bad. And I'm really glad I had the people with me that I did, because if not, yeah, this gameplay wouldn't have been as fun, and it sure wouldn't have been something that you guys would be watching now. You'd probably be watching something on close quarters, but needless to say the least, it turned out in my favor, and that's what you guys get to see for today. So, what else could we talk about? There's so much that changed in the patch, and, I want to make a video for each one to discuss the main topics of it, and give you guys more further information to maybe some of the things that I didn't get to, as if you guys haven't seen my 1.06 patch notes kind of commentary, I would highly recommend it, because if you're not exactly a hardcore person, you don't actually search everything in Battlefield, you're going to find some things that have changed a lot more since last time you've played. I do have quite a bit of people that had no idea that there was a patch that even released on that day, even though it had been talked about for weeks coming, you know what I mean? So in a sense, if you haven't seen that, I do highly recommend it, or just Google searching it if you don't really want to sit through a 20-something minute commentary. I completely understand. But overall, the patch was needless to say the least, interesting. I found that it made some of those guns that were not effective, giving them new light and new hope in the Parse. And you know, overall, I just found that this patch was a lot better. I haven't seen so much of the M16A3 as that you guys would think, but at the same time, I actually haven't tested it out yet. But for what I've heard from many people, it's still the good old M16 that we all loved at one point. It's just not as effective as it once was. It has a lot more horizontal recoil than I last remember, but if you use a flash suppressor, that's probably going to compensate quite a bit for that sporadic, you know, effect of recoil. And yeah, I would just highly recommend always using a flash suppressor over anything else, especially since everyone's beloved heavy barrel got adjusted, and that was interesting. I really wasn't expecting that thing to be fixed, because that's kind of how they made it after the April patch, and that's just what they did. And they made it more so it wasn't, I don't think it was ever really overpowered, but it was so over fucking used. Oh my god. I don't know if these people were just watching like 5 minutes of somebody's commentary and was like, oh, this guy's using a heavy barrel, this thing must be the new, you know, OG setup or something like that. But I would strongly disagree with everything of that nature per se. But you know, if you want to decrease vertical recoil, which some of the guns don't really have anymore, I think they were trying to make this game a lot more effective and a lot more fast-paced, instead of people actually camping to control the recoil, you know, going from that crouch to prone stage. Because if you're in that stage, your recoil technically or hypothetically is reduced. It's not as strong as if you're standing up. And another thing I found really interesting, and somebody made a video about it, and I wish I could give them props right now, but I can't think of what their name was. They were talking about the LMGs, how they've changed so much since day one to where they are now. And I would have to agree, the LMGs when the game first came out were very effective. You could mess people's day up. I remember the M27 IAR was really good, and I'm not saying that it's not good, it's just not as effective as it used to be per se. And then the M249 is another gun that's changed quite a bit since day one of this game. But how do they compare it to now? Back in April, they got screwed. I mean, my eyes, LMGs were useless. If you used them, you were just doing them to troll or suppress. You know, you were trying to get the bonus points. You know what I mean, the first suppression effect. But how do they compare to you know, today? I would say that they're a lot more effective. I find that if you're going to suppress, you're going to get rewarded for it now. And they also have the ability to kill players unlike they did back in April. I found them to be something where it was a joke. I mean, if you wanted to suppress them, congratulations, you were going to do maximum suppression effect. But if you were going to actually play the game, get kills, I mean, you were going to struggle. You had to bipod up, you had to camp, and I know that's the part of the LMG, but not everyone has the ability to want to sit on the ground prone and get sniped by somebody, let's say on Grand Bazaar, sitting behind the bus, head glitching. Unfortunately, that still occurs, and I wish that they would get rid of that, but that's something we'll probably see never, but, you know, something you can always hope for. But as I was saying, how do they compare? Well, they started out good, they got really bad, and then they got patched at the 1.06, and now I find them to be really effective. I actually picked one up last night. Oh my god, it's like vertical recoil is reduced easily, I'd say by 50%. I mean, just by itself. Flash suppressor on that bad boy, I mean, you got it going for you. Everything's going to turn out just fine. I mean, it's going to be a good setup, and I find that they're going to be a lot more used now. You'll actually be able to find ammo on the ground instead of 700 health packs, and then the one guy that's using the support class that's camping on a rock that chooses not to give you ammo. You know, you'll see a lot more ammo now. Hopefully, that's the theoretical, you know, perspective of hope. But in a reality standpoint, it probably won't change, but we can all, you know, wish it would. So guys, that's really all I wanted to talk about. You know, the patch was just something interesting, and I know I made a commentary yesterday talking about the helicopters, and you guys received that very well. I was really surprised. I was expecting some people to not enjoy my editing skills, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's a good laugh. My editing skills are horrible, so you guys will probably laugh and say that you can do better, and I would strongly agree that you're probably a way better editor than I am. I just don't have the experience, and I used to take a class about editing back in like middle school, but that's all long gone now. I mean, it's been 5 years ago, so unfortunately that's how it is. And I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. I hope everything was spot on. I do realize that I did say quite a bit. I do apologize again. It's just getting really late at night, and I just got off work, so I'm not trying to put excuses out there, but I'm working on it, and I Really appreciate when you guys give me feedback. I've been loving how you guys have been rating the videos positively, even though I haven't asked for them. And overall, I'll just see you guys in tomorrow's video. This is going to be Nerd Mode On, signing off. Peace, guys.